Preppers fireside will stay. What the? Whoa! Come on. Oh, God. So, first things first, if you can roll, get it off to a place at the side, away from traffic and prying eyes. Then we've got to get the kit out. Up here is just regular junk, and we're loaded out inside of here. This is my decoy tank. It's not an electric car, it's clearly a diesel. And what we have in here is multiple things. Some stuff you would have to sacrifice if this is get home. For example, I have the all powers generator that I've done a review on. I also have multiple cables with that, so I can plug it straight into the generator and into the car. I also have the adapter for the car to go into 4 plugs should you need the car for the actual power. Here we have our get home bag. The get home bag, it can carry like this, but it does have the backpack straps on, as well as an over the shoulder side, so you can carry it multiple different ways. The benefit of these straps is this is what we can attach things like our sleeping bag to. The sleeping bag is all season 1 Tigris camping sleeping bag. That would come with me. I have a crate of water, generally keep that in the car anyway, but that will be probably not all taken. It would have to, I'd have to determine the route home and know how much to take, throw a couple in the bag, fill the canteen that's strapped to the bag as well. Cable ties. Although these are in the packet still, I need to put them in a better place. They've just been chucked in there, but cable ties come in handy for any sort of repairs if you have to detain anyone. I have 2 head torches, one without the strap, that's just like a pocket one, and then this one, which is the one for the head as well, which has that if you're walking and there is still traffic. Other things I have scattered around the car, such as a reel of paracord, things like that. I've got a paraffin lamp in there with a bit of paraffin in. I've even got parts of an MBC kit in here as well. I'll just pull out one of the boots to show you. So all eventualities. So at this stage it would be a case of abandoning the car if there was nothing else on the road, if everything else had stopped, if it had been an EMP, and loading up what I could without being overloaded onto that bag and taking that home. Also, you'll notice an extra aerial on here. This is for a mesh network, so we've got our communications sorted within the vehicle. I'll also be adding a CB and ham radio to the vehicle. There's a ham radio always in the get home bag anyway, but I want a CB radio hooked up as well, a secondary aerial. So this becomes a mobile communications unit. Comms is massive come a grid down situation, so make sure you have a comms plan in place. Now, if I'm trying to get help from the car, great. If I've got to leave the car, then obviously I can take the handheld with me, spare aerial in the bag, get it hooked up, make sure that's on there and take that with me. But having that communication at all times, because something could happen where your car is still working. You've got X amount of charge in it, X amount of fuel in it, so you know you can get so far. So it's good to have them communication points, especially if you're part of a network of people that has the same sort of communications. You'll see what's within the bag, but generally keep up to 48 hours of food in your car. I have some extra food and some extra rations in the space underneath the boot floor, which means I'd have to drag it all out, so trust me, it's there. Just some extra water, some extra food and stuff like that where the spare tyre recess is. Even if you've got a spare tyre recess, usually you've got a space in the middle of that you can use for this. Now, should for any reason, as I'm loading up, this kit be taken from me in any way, or whatever the scenario, we won't go into great detail, then hopefully what's left under the boot in the recess is an emergency supply that will sustain me for a short amount of time, relying on bushcraft skills and stuff like that, as well as that. Now, as well as what you'll see in my bug out bag, which I'll show you, as I say, at the end, inside the driver's area, I've got a little arm recess here, a little storage area. Inside that, I have an emergency seatbelt cutter. I have a small emergency power bank. We'll get about 2 charges off that. Yes, it's charged up with the correct cable needed as well. And a few classic handy little tools for should I need them if anything else is compromised. Another thing to keep handy around your car as well is obviously cash currency should you need it. If you break down and it is a complete power outage, chances are cash machines are not going to be working at all. So make sure you keep some cash on you. Cash will hold its value for a small amount of time. Now, if someone's a bit thrifty, then they won't be taking cash straight away. But keep a small contingent of silver on your person or in the car as well. You never know, emergency barter could work just to get you home, because getting you home to them preps and that home base location is essential. Now, if it's clear that it's completely a collapse, it's an EMP, it's something like that, God forbid you've even seen a mushroom cloud in the distance, don't be afraid to get cover wherever you can, in things like churches, abandoned buildings, etc. Whatever you can, just to stay safe. But if you think you're in a situation where you're not going to be affected by any sort of blast, any sort of fallout immediately, don't be afraid to scavenge things on the way home. Okay, I'm not talking about breaking into people's houses or anything like that, but you'll be amazed the resources that some places throw out. And in a desperate situation, things like restaurant bins could be a lifeline in a deadly situation. Luckily, this is just an exercise. As you can see, traffic is still flowing away behind me. I've not broken down. I've got to jump back in and go home. But maybe learn a few lessons, do a few scenarios. Just think, from the position you're at, could you get home? I know for a fact where I'm at now. It's one of the places I stopped on my practice hike before my big hike. And I know it'd take about 8 hours for me to get home from this location on foot. Possibly 10 if I've got to avoid people and crowds and anyone panicking or anything like that. But 8 to 10 hours, I know I can get home. So I could even possibly save on the weight, leave some of the water behind, leave some of the food behind, just take a 24-hour rat pack. Whatever I need, I've got to assess that situation and take what I need accordingly. It is worth recommending though, make sure you secure, lock up your car. Possibly, if you can camouflage it using any other stuff around you, if you could get that right in the corner, cover it up with everything from here, then maybe if you keep it locked and secured, that becomes a cache that you know about. And it, should you have to bug out and you're heading this location, you know you've got something you can get into and you know where there's a secret stash within the footwell of that. That's it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff that the algorithm likes. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. I left my phone.